What should you never do on a first date? Be on your phone the whole time. Put it on vibrate and don't look at it except when you go to the bathroom. I walked out on a date because she was constantly replying to messages. They did not take it well. Discuss any particular ex for a length of time. In my experience, it's a big red flag that they're not over someone or carrying that baggage. And I mean, everyone has baggage, it's normal. I have some, and expect the people I've dated in the past to have some. But a first date should be about exploring each other and whether you like the person, are attracted to them, want to continue getting to know them. You can mention previous relationships, but unless both parties have known each other during previous relationships, do not vent or over-explain your exes. To add on to this, don't ask people about their exes. When I got back into the dating game after my divorce, I went out with this guy who kept asking me about it and other past relationships. I kept trying to change the subject, but he kept bringing it back up. Overall, the date went fine, and we actually had a second date that went much better. No old relationship stuff came up. But then I asked to see him again, and he told me I talked about my ex too much on our first date. Speaking as a woman who dates men, getting offended if she doesn't want you to pick her up, drive her home. Basic safety there, and you look like a creep, even if you were just trying to be nice. Offering is fine, but don't push. Absolutely. Had to pick up a friend cause her date insisted on picking her up and have a date at his place, pre-corona. They did so, and he started to drink. After they got to his flat, she called me locked in the bathroom, and I picked her up at the apartment door. We're no friends anymore, but I would do it again. Don't dump out every single unappealing thing about your life on a first date. There is plenty of time to get to know someone and plenty of time to be honest about those things, but a first date isn't the time for it. I feel like sometimes people do this as a defense mechanism to rip off the band-aid and test if someone will accept them completely, but it is far too much all at once and creates a self-fulfilling prophecy of rejection. As an example, on a first date, a guy disclosed to me he's living with his parents who are homeless and refused to move out of his apartment, so almost all his income goes to them. He has zero sex drive and he struggles with severe body image issues. He also had plenty of great qualities, and if I'd had a chance to slowly get to know him, we may have been able to navigate around some of that stuff, but honestly it was way too much to process all at once. I also have my own family medical mental health shit to deal with too. I just didn't dump it all on him in one day, so all I could think about was how much of his shit he was asking me to take on, and I didn't even know him. I ended up not accepting a second date, then watched him post about how women won't give him a chance on social media. I felt bad, because he's a really nice guy, and he's absolutely sabotaging himself with that first date etiquette. Don't make it a dinner date. If it's going badly, you're not going to want to be stuck there with them. Make it a beverage meet at a nice place near somewhere nice that you can walk to if you both want the date to last a while longer. Somewhere you can interact with each other. Whine about your ex, talk politics, bring up something that a reasonable person would recognize as controversial. Expect sex, use your phone, get too drunk, overshare, be rude to the service staff. Be late. I know it's such a boomer thing to say, and I never care about punctuality in any other context, but for a first date specifically, every minute I'm waiting is a minute my insecure ass is wondering if I've been stood up. First date was supposed to be dinner and a movie. We met at the university as it was a blind date, and then we took my car. I had made reservations to a restaurant, but got so nervous I went to the opposite side of town and missed the reservations. So we had to sit in their patio area. Would have been fine, but it was the middle of December. Afterwards we go to the theater. The first Twilight movie had released, and I knew most of the girls back then was into it. She wasn't. Not at all. We were both bored. Went back to drop her off. Her windshield was iced over as it was around 10 p.m. at this point. I couldn't find my ice scraper, so I used my student ID to scrap the frost off. It took forever. Afterwards I'm so embarrassed I didn't know what to do, then put my hand out for a handshake and thank her for her time. She gave me a pity hug. Second date, surprise. Something to be said about awkward charm, I guess. We both liked Sublime and there was a cover band playing at a club downtown. We go in my car again and look for a place to park. I found a lot with no fees. Parked, went to the show, and ran into some old classmates of mine who kinda embarrassed me. Everything good so far. Talked about sharing some Jägermeister at her place afterwards. Get to the lot, dude, where's my car? It was towed, and the sign saying it was a towing zone was hidden from the angle we had entered the lot at. Fuck. Call them, find out it is $200 to get it out. I call the one person who I knew was in town and would come. Enter, let's call him Chad. Chad was as brash, arrogant, and crude as a nerdy engineering student could get. He also knew I was on a date. I called him, and he yells into the phone as he picks up, if I had gotten laid. Quickly explained the situation, he comes gets us to take us to the ATM, and then the towed car. Car ride is awkward as hell already, and Chad isn't making it easier. He thought he was subtle, but he was not by a mile in his remarks. So that's a quick version of how I met my wife. Thanks for watching. Bye.